Hello, beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming to you live from Ontario. And as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach, it has been my soul's purpose to help you, to help the women in this community get their shit together so you can break free from that mental prison you find yourself in and build a life and a business and or a career that you are obsessed with. How does that sound? Sounds nice, doesn't it? And some of you might think or feel this given moment in time that it's possible, but it's not possible for me. And I want you to challenge that belief. The more you challenge the beliefs that you have, the more you get to understand who you are being versus who you truly are. Who you truly are is all of your hopes and dreams. All of them. And who you're being is someone who does not believe that she's worthy of those things or she's capable of having those things or achieving those things. You want proof? You're looking at it. You want more proof? Look at other women in this community, in this group. You want even more proof? Look outside of this group in the community and you see all the other women who are doing the unachievable, the unbelievable things. So on Mondays, I do card readings to help everybody in their healing and spiritual awakening journey. And I do the live card reading in this group, Heal the Unicorn, Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women. And if you're listening to this podcast or watching this video on a different platform, come and check out this group, see if this is a group in the community you've been looking for. That will help you on your spiritual awakening and healing journey. And if not, no hard feelings whatsoever. So, today I decided to do my favorite deck, which is the Witch's Wisdom, the Oracle deck. And as it always holds some magical messages for us all, and it helps you to understand yourself, your journey, and especially where you currently are. Where you currently are is temporary. It's not permanent. It's the creation of your unconscious, which also means that you can recreate your unconscious and therefore create your conscious. So this is the message for today. Ostara Incubation. So think about the fetus. Think about the egg, where the fetus and the egg goes through an incubation process. And some animals is longer, and other animals it's shorter. But in the end, you get a whole being that comes out that is still dependent on you. Hey Tammy, how are you doing, beautiful? Tammy says, I found you. Yay. I'm glad you found me. Maybe I should start tagging at everyone so that way you get notification when I go live. And typically, if you and I are connected and we're friends on Facebook, you should be getting notifications saying Yana is live. And then you would go click on that notification and it will bring you on here. So when it comes to the incubation process, this is what is also referred to as spiritual awakening. The spirit, you as a body as well, you're in there, in the egg, if you will, gathering knowledge, gathering information, learning while you're in this cocoon, right? We can look at the metaphor of butterfly. What the caterpillar thinks it's the end, the butterfly knows it's the beginning. That's one of my favorite beautiful phrases that reminds me that when I am in this caterpillar state, this emotional discomfort state, that I'm just a caterpillar in that moment, and I'm going to emerge a beautiful butterfly. And to allow myself to go through the process with the least amount of judgment and allow myself to be there wherever I am cocooning or however I am cocooning, so that way on the other side when I come out, I will be the most beautiful and powerful self. But if I continue to stay in that drained emotional state, then I will not even notice when I become a butterfly. I will continue to feel like I'm an ugly butterfly. How many of you can say this for yourself when you have gone through this stage and you know you've already emerged and you essentially are starting to get your shit together, and yet you still don't believe that you're this beautiful, magnificent butterfly? Hello, Kelly. Hello, Rebecca. Good morning to you both, ladies, as you both say good morning. So how many of you have gone through the state, and how many times? It's important to remind ourselves that we will go through this state, the stage, enough times until we finally remember. Which brings me to another one of my favorite quotes or reminders. How many times must we forget before we finally remember? How many times must you forget who you truly are, how powerful and amazing you are, until you finally remember? How many times do you even have to forget that someone did you wrong until you finally remember and then set that boundary? How many times do you even forget to go and, I don't know, wash dishes until you finally remember that washing dishes is important to you and why it's important to you? So how many times do you forget something until you finally remember? With certain things, it might be once or twice. With other things, it might be 100 times and you finally remember. Same thing applies to your spiritual awakening and your healing journey. There's going to be things that you had the aha moment, that you had the realization, and you forgot about it. Even if you wrote it down, you might still forget about it. But it's much more likely to stay in your memory and your subconscious memory as well and become more of a program. But how many times do you need to forget until you finally remember? I don't have that answer for you. Neither do you. It's one of those things you just, okay, let's go and test it out and see. Become your own little scientist. Hello, Debbie, to you as well. How are you doing? So, incubation. This is the time that you're going through incubation. And this period can be as long as it's short, or as long or as short as it is meant to be. You cannot rush the process. Think of yourself as a little chicken and the egg. Or even let's go back to the caterpillar, right? If you try to, and also a reminder for other people, when they're going through the stage of this cocoon stage, this incubation stage, that when you are in there, you can't come out prematurely, and you can't be taken out prematurely, and you don't know how long it's going to be, because honestly, you don't even know what species you're going to be, which means what version of you you're going to be, or how much you're going to be learn and grow in that incubation time, and then come out on the other side. If you try to take a caterpillar out too early, it will not have a chance to become a butterfly. If you try to get the chicken out of its egg, it will not have a chance to become a butterfly. This one is for you, Rebecca. If you try to take a lizard out of its egg, it will not become a lizard. It will become a deformed creature, which would be in the way a lizard, but it won't be. Yes. That one, like I said, was specifically for you and any one of you who does not like reptiles very much or at all. Which I completely get it. This is why my little body is not here with me, out of respect for you, but at the same time, I like to have a little fun. Invoke a little bit, just to show you that I know you, I hear you, I understand you, I respect you, and at the same time, this is me challenging you and reminding you that those fears, they don't exist outside of you. They don't exist outside of me, they exist within me. So if I don't like those fears, the best way to get rid of them is continuous exposure. Now, I'm not saying go and hang out with a bunch of lizards. I'm just saying listen to my videos and watch those creepy little animals, as they're actually referred to as lizards with eyelashes, that actually were extinct at some point. And then they re-emerged. So I did a little bit of learning, and they were on some island near Australia. Anyways, so let's go into the incubation. Tammy says, I'm so ready for the shift I'm in. LOL. And I am ready for your shift as well, because I know there's going to be quite a few more learning and incubating process that you will be going through, and some of you as well. As we will be shortly talking about the imposter banishing quest, and I'm slowly drip feeding the information as we go through it. So those of you who are ready for that growth to that next level of your evolution, especially if you have gone through the 21-day challenge, this one is going to be going in depth. It's like a path connected, and you don't necessarily have to do one before the other. You can do one and then the other after. Of course, it's best if you do the 21-day challenge first, because it creates a habit for you to show up for yourself and do the work every single day, and then you can go into the imposter banishing quest. But here we go. Ostara Incubation. What's the hurry? Why the gloom? Your seed is safe within her womb. Await and trust now is the key, for life will bloom most readily. This magic is worked with harm to none, so more to be. There, it is done. Just like as I was saying. Why are you rushing the process? Enjoy the painful moments. I know they're painful. I know it doesn't feel good. But when you practice allowing yourself to be where you are and you meet yourself where you are, it's like when you start separating your emotions from you and not see them as part of you, and yet they are part of you. It's like when your friend comes over and she is so upset and she's so hurt, she just lost the love of her life, or she just found out she got cheated on, or she just recognized that one of the boundaries was missing, and this is one of the reasons why she's been hurting. So she comes to you for whatever reason. Maybe she even fell and embarrassed herself, and she has scratches and bruises on herself from that fall that was in front of everyone, and she's really hurting. You're going to allow her to be in that space. You're going to hear her out. You're going to understand the story that she's trying to tell you. Perhaps not 100%, but you're going to understand the gist of the story of what she's telling you, why she's hurting, why she's upset. And then you will allow her to go through her own process of releasing it and healing from that. How does that happen? It happens by you simply being present for her, with her, by listening to her, by allowing her to be who she is, where she is, and meet her there, without trying to tell her, oh, just let that be, that doesn't matter, you'll forget about it, or you'll laugh about it later. No. You will notice when you do that, your friend is not going to be coming to you with these issues or problems. It's going to shut you out, and you'll feel disconnect. This is what happens with your feelings and emotions that you don't like, because no one taught you how to treat them as a friend, how to just hear them out. And when you hear them out, you will learn and understand yourself, aka that friend that is living rent-free within you, right? That emotion called anger. Don't banish it to the corner and say, no, you're not allowed. Sit with it, understand it. Doesn't mean you gotta go and use it on everyone around you when it's coming up. It comes up for you. Okay, now let me go sit with my friend, because my friend is calling me and I need to understand what she's going through, what's coming up for her, what she's dealing with. Frustration. Same dealio. Same deal. You're going to go and sit with her, and you're going to understand where she's coming from, what she's feeling, why she's upset. She's going to tell you a story. The story will most likely feel like not a real story. And it's like, oh, that doesn't even make sense. It's so stupid. Why would you get upset over that? But regardless, allow her to be and understand. And in understanding her, you will understand yourself. And naturally, you will start to by understanding yourself and your triggers, because this is where the emotion is coming from, you will start to release those triggers, and you will no longer be so easily triggered. Little by little, like the little embryo that you are going through the incubation process, you will come out so different on the other side. The thought that popped to mind is like, these videos are great, right? Can you imagine what the lessons that I have, that I'm holding in secret for you, for the imposter banishing quest, and the lessons that I had held in secret and in so much detail that you don't even see in these types of videos, when in the 21-day challenge to inner peace. Some of you that went through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, these videos are great. A lot of information, a lot of things that you can learn from it and apply. But when you go through the actual programs and the courses, the quests, you get to see and experience a whole different level, because those are the things that are paid for. And these are the things that are for free, which are just almost as powerful, not as powerful. Okay, let's do the actual reading. My hair is like tickling my forehead a little bit. Saying, move on. Like the sun rising at spring equinox, Ostra's promise of new beginnings and fertility is on the horizon. Everything is in place to make real your desires, but first you must allow all things to unfold naturally. This is where trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. For now, it might be one of those things that you remind yourself and you say to yourself, but before you know it, it will be one of those things that you fully understand on a cellular level. And you know. The seeds planted at Imbolc need time to nurture deep within the earth. And even though these seedlings may now be appearing, you are yet to witness them grow into full bloom. Even though with certain things you might feel like you're ready. You're ready to do that, you're ready to do this. You might not be. Even though you might feel like, oh, I got it all. And this is where a lot of people stop working on themselves or quit working with their coach or quit working with their therapist because, look, oh, I figured it out. I got it. But keep going, keep doing, because when you feel like you got it, you're just on the cusp. You're just on the beginning of what else is to come. It's like when the butterfly comes out of the cocoon, it doesn't just end there. It knows it's the beginning. So what you feel like is the beginning, it is the beginning, which means keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't quit it just yet. Keep feeding yourself and feeding and watering those seeds, and you will see magic grow and evolve. Tammy says there's always more. Yes, there is always more. If you're, one of the tools that I use in coaching is the Wheel of Life. Some of you might check out, go to the search bar in this group and type in Wheel of Life, and you will see I've done a whole video on this Wheel of Life. And one of the things, I'm not going to go into depth with it because I want you to watch it and learn, because you'll get to understand yourself and the 8 pieces of pie that makes up your life. And then each one is, you go into much depth with it. But when it comes to, so in the Wheel of Life, you'll see it's, you're measuring from 1 to 10. 1, you're not satisfied at all, and 10 is you're completely satisfied. Even if every part of your life is a 10, that is not even the limit, because you can go above that 10. You can go to 11 to 12. Can you imagine what that would feel like? Let's say your happiness right now was at a 9, and you get to a 10 of your happiness in your life and your overall life satisfaction. Can you imagine what an 11 would feel like? Can you imagine what a 20 would feel like? Like really jumping from 11 to 20, right? Just imagine that. That's why there's always more. The limits that you have set for yourself and others have set for you, the ones that set for you, if you don't like them, just let them go. You got your own limits. Those limits that you set for yourself, move them up. You reach them, move them up. Reach them, move them up, and continue to grow and evolve. And you will be amazed with yourself each and every day. That is the obsession of life. Like a video game in a way. So have patience, as this is a time for incubation, for the development of any projects, wishes, spells, and dreams you have breathed energy into. Anything that you want, anything that you thought about, and you've spent time and energy in it. What is that thing that comes to mind that you want most right now? It could be a couple of things, but usually it is just one that really screams. Even if it's, I want it all. What does it mean? What does all actually mean to you? And take the time to describe that to yourself. Write in your journal. If you are not a writer like myself, then record a little audio for yourself, or a little video for yourself. Just speak it out loud. If you're working with a coach or a therapist, maybe you have the access to send them, whether it's written, typed up, or voice note, to let them know what that vision is of, I want it all. Well, what does all mean to you? You want happiness. You want joy. What does that mean to you? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it even smell like? What are you doing that allows you to feel that happiness and joy all the time? Or most of the time, because you can't be happy and joyful 100% of the time. It will be exhausting. It's like your phone always being at 100%. You gotta recharge that phone. It cannot stay at 100%. Just like with you, you gotta recharge yourself. So that way, you're at 100% each and every time. Where were we? Incubation, development, and projects. Blah, blah, blah. Everything is simmering under the surface, and the timing is perfect to bring the best results. That which you cannot see needs to take place first in the background. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I remind women to work in silence. You have something that now silence doesn't mean you have to completely keep it to yourself. Just maybe one, maybe two people you would share it with, but even then, not in detail. Just as a concept, just as an idea. Because when you share too much, you already feel energetically you have already achieved it. So why even bother? Why even put more time and energy into that? And you're less likely to achieve it. Don't go broadcasting whatever it is that you're doing to the world. Share it, yes. But don't go and share it in great detail. Leave some of those things that you're doing, that you're undertaking, in private for yourself, with yourself. That which you cannot see needs to take place first in the background. So don't try to speed up the process. Just wait, trust, and allow the natural order of things to take place. Your patience will pay off. Also meaning that trusting in the universe, right? That the universe has your back. That whatever it is that you want, it will help and provide it. Don't try to rush the process. I mean, you can, like I said, if you try to open up the caterpillar's cocoon, you're not going to get a proper, healthy, full-grown butterfly. That is you rushing the process. And let's be honest, all of us are impatient. So, what are you really practicing in this moment? You're practicing patience. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you find yourself being impatient in one area of your life, and you know which area I'm talking about, you know that area. That's the area that comes to mind right now. It's like, oh, I need to practice being more patient with my kids. Or I need to practice being more patient with my partner. Maybe it's in one specific area when you kids come home from school and they're so hyper and so excited, and you're in this calm, mellow state, and they start telling you all these stories, they start sharing, where it's almost like you don't have the patience for that. Maybe that's the one area you gotta practice patience. Or maybe it's bedtime when they're brushing their teeth and they just are fooling around and they're all buffoons and they're not brushing their teeth, they're not listening, they're doing what they want. Maybe that's the area you gotta practice being more patient. Maybe they're dressing themselves and you being impatient. Whatever little area that is. Or maybe your coffee machine is too slow this morning and you just need your coffee. You banging on that coffee machine is not going to speed it up. But what it will do eventually is it will break that machine down. When you force things, they break. Don't force. Practice patience. So that's another thing that is reminding you, this incubation, is be patient. Be patient. And when you feel challenged, that is your opportunity to practice patience. It is not going to be when everything is going smoothly and according to plan and you're feeling great. It's going to be when you're triggered. That is when you get to practice these things. Not when everything is fun and games. Right? Right. So, your patience will pay off. It literally will pay off, which is foresight. What you have wished for will come about soon. Patience. It's coming. There are underlying factors that need to be considered before completion. Some things still need to be worked on. Some things still need to be healed. Some things still need to be focused and refocused. Some things need to be shed and let go. More healing to take place. More awakening needs to take place. You need to understand more of yourself. You need to understand your 4 main blocks. You need to understand how you're showing up energetically. You need to understand who you're being versus who you are, and perhaps even versus who you were, and reminding yourself all this enormous growth that you have already done. And you're not even done yet. There's more to come. There's always more. A new project is about to take off. Well, I know for me for sure. How many of you are going to be part of that project? The project is the quest. And it's about to really start taking off. As I said, today I'm starting to do some onboarding calls to see if the program is the right fit for the women that I'm having calls with. And then if the women are the right fit for the program as well, right? To make sure that, are you ready? If this is what you want, yes or no, essentially. Or maybe perhaps not yet. But some of you already know that. This is why I talk about more in the group, in the private, because I want the 10 women who will have access to the lowest price it will ever be at to be in this community, from this community, and not from other platforms. That's why I do the live and I share these things in the live. And then afterwards, I share it with others. But it's going to be just the 10 women. And afterwards, it's going to be doubling. And then after that, it's going to be at its regular price, which is still an amazing deal at its regular price. But you can imagine those of you founding members, the first 10 that will be helping me even to fine-tune anything that might need to be fine-tuned or adjusted or anything like that, right? And you will be the ones to have the first-hand experience and can help to spread the word, invite others in as well. So if you want your friend to be part of it, make sure, I know some of you already have the link. That's what Rebecca says, scheduling soon to schedule that call with me. If you have friends who you want to go on a journey with, have them schedule that call as well with me while I have the time available, because I'm always going to have the time available, but if they want to save quite a few $1,000, then yes, have them. Look at it. Anyways, that's where it says a new project is about to take off. For me, that's the project. For you, what is a project that's about to take off? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Or maybe even the second thing that comes to mind? What is that project that's about to take off for you? That you have been focusing on, that you have been working on, that you have been watering those seeds on and for? What is that project for you? I shared mine, I'll share yours. Allow your dreams to unfold naturally without forcing the issue. We all know what happens when we force things too much. I have this pillow that I made, I don't even know how many years ago. I think it's like almost 17 years ago. I still have that pillow. Love is like a fart. It's a heart pillow. Love is like a fart. If I have to force it, it's probably shit. So, reminding you, don't force things, because it might turn to shit or be shit. You have a reason to feel excited. Yes, you do. New beginnings await. So that project is going to be the beginnings. So Tammy says, forgive myself. That's actually a powerful reminder, especially the conversations that I've been having with women about forgiveness. One thing I want to remind you all is that the most powerful and the hardest thing you can do is forgive yourself. While you also want to forgive others, does not mean you have to. Does not mean you will. And on top of that, not everyone deserves your forgiveness. Yes, they deserve your empathy. They deserve your understanding, but they do not deserve your forgiveness. Those three are different. You can be empathetic, you can be understanding, but you do not have to forgive for the things that people have done to you. You can be empathetic and understanding that they were the most powerful anchor to your growth, or catalyst to your growth, but you do not have to forgive them for the things that they have done. Yes, you can understand that it was unconscious what they did, but you do not need to forgive them. But forgiving yourself, yes. And that is one of those things that you can continue to work on and work on and work on, and little by little forgive yourself with this little area, even if it's just one experience. There are little parts attached to it. New revelations you'll have, new realizations you'll have, and you gotta work on forgiving yourself and letting go. Forgiving the other person is not necessary, because no matter how many times you might think you have forgiven someone, your emotions, they can still get triggered. You're a human being. You cannot become like a rock. And then there's also radical acceptance. I'll probably do a separate video on that as well. But just the gist of that, of radical acceptance, you accept the fact that this person is the way they are, and you can't do anything to change them, and you just accept them for who they are. And if you cannot accept them for who they are and how they are now, because staying with someone, or whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in a friendship, hoping that they'll change, you're the one that's going to continue to get hurt in that relationship. So radical acceptance. Okay, maybe this Thursday I'll talk about it. Rebecca says, I think it's continuing my career. I feel ready to take action steps in that area. That's amazing. So what would be the action steps that you would take in your career that will help you in growing and evolving yourself and your career? Identifying them and then taking them as well. What is going to be elevating you and your growth so you can even become better and better and better in that area of your career, or in this area of your career? Because it's not just one little thing. It's going to be a bunch of little things. Okay, we talked about we did this one, new beginnings await. So Ostara revealed. This is a time of balance between light and dark, a time of renewal and rebirth of life. Which also, I will add, it's time for grieving, because when you are reborn, when the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, part of that is also a grieving process, that they're grieving their old self and embracing the new wholeheartedly. When you awake each and every morning, you are a new version of yourself, especially if you have been working on yourself. It means spending time in personal development and in personal growth. You become a new version of yourself every single day. And some of these days, you will feel low energy, you will feel tired, you will feel drained, maybe even physical pain as well. Because the mental pain creates physical. That might be because you are grieving, or you're meant to be grieving the loss and the death of the previous version of yourself, so you can fully embrace and take on the new version of yourself. Big part of that is your old habits, your old traits, your personalities, your maybe even some quirks that you didn't like, whatever part of yourself that you were letting go of little by little. You got to take the time to grieve. You don't feel down for no reason. There is a reason. Now, you can look at it as externally. Sometimes that is the case. But you are in control of your internal. Maybe not yet fully, but one day you will be in full control of your internal world. And your external world will show that as well. Rebecca says, I have felt uninspired and unmotivated for many years now. And it sounds like now you are feeling inspired and motivated. And that itself was for a reason. So you were in your own incubation process as well for those years that have brought you here now, where you are also recognizing that inspiration and motivation is something that you gotta do daily. You gotta find it daily. Just like gratitude, just like happiness and joy. You gotta cultivate it. These things do come naturally, but not as natural to everyone, and especially for a period of time, depending on what you have experienced throughout your life. So, you want to feel motivated? You got to motivate yourself. You got to exercise that muscle. You want to feel inspired? You got to do the same thing. Everything is that way. And Rebecca says, I felt imposter syndrome about being a teacher, but now I feel ready to take up space as a leader and a role model. Ooh, that's amazing, Rebecca. I'm so happy for you that you're taking on that role boldly, loudly, and unapologetically, and stepping into this role that you have been preparing for. Our greatest weaknesses can become our greatest strengths. The areas where we feel broken, this is where we become the strongest. So that is what I'm hearing you say as well, where you felt like you were a fake, where that inner critic was coming up for you and telling you you're being a fake, the imposter, that now you're stepping in and you're seeing that that little voice is just that. It's a little voice. And we sometimes give way too much power to that little voice and allow that to rule and control and dictate our life, which is the biggest part of the program as well. The last little bit, the vernal equinox calls to our youthful spirit to come out of hibernation and awaken to the lengthening of days. Even though the days are becoming shorter, does not mean they're actually becoming shorter. They can become longer. Ooh, 5%. Let's get going. My battery phone. In pagan times, eggs were given as gifts to family and friends for blessing and abundance. It's a time to celebrate growth and new life. So, time to celebrate and embrace the new at your own pace. Don't rush the process. Patience and trust. That is all that I have for you since my phone is about to die. Thank you, each and every one of you. I appreciate you all, ladies, for interacting on here with me, for watching me live. And I know more of you watch on the replay. In same ladies who watch the live watch the replay. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. What was your biggest takeaway from today's reading? Biggest takeaway, and then what are you going to do with that takeaway? Thank you, and we'll see each other tomorrow at the Sacred Circle, 10 a.m. or next Monday for another one of these card readings at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, have an amazing rest of your day.